Hello and welcome back to the Ultra Films YouTube channel. My name is Evan. I am the producer over here. Today we are talking about Miss Marvel episode 4. We're back on track with the Miss Marvel stuff. I'm wearing my new Rockstar Shang-Chi latest obsession shirt. I think that's what they call their series. Anyways, I think it's relevant to today. So today we're covering episode 4 titled Seeing Red. Now, I want to get this out of the way because I had some issues with the pacing of this episode. It threw me off a ton. I don't know if it's just that I'm so tired from the last week and everything that's been going on with my life and with these shows and what we're covering, but I just felt like this was a miss. Like a big miss. Like the rest of the series has been great. I've loved it. This episode has things that just made me go, I get what you're trying to do, but didn't hit for me. So we'll get to those moments when we get to them, but I just wanted to clarify that that's just how I've always felt about some of this stuff. Or, how I felt about it all day. I didn't see this early. I wish I did, but that's kind of where we're at on this. So we start the episode off with Kamala and her mother going to Pakistan. They fly on over there. They have a funny little argument on the plane over. The guy in between them, the guy forced to be in the middle seat. This is why you don't get a middle seat on a plane. Has to deal with their drama and has to throw up a newspaper in front of himself. And then they land in Pakistan, in Karachi to be specific, and they meet up with their family, with Kamala's cousins, as well as Sana, her grandmother. Sorry if I'm stretching. It's been a crazy day again. And then they end up heading home. They have a brief little conversation about how long it's been since they've all seen each other. And they make fun of Kamala and say that, yeah, you're still just as short as we remember. Messed up. Not cool. But then we get back to Grandma Sana's house, and we meet her puppy, Magnum. Best part of the episode by far, not gonna lie. But then Kamala starts exploring the house. She finds this big old artistry room, or this little side craft room, or whatever you want to call it, where Sana has been drawing everything that was from her childhood that she could remember, and just other pieces of her life, her family, herself, her own mother, Aisha, the one with the bangle originally. So they have a brief conversation about how they remember her, how much they remember, how it's all connected, and she straight up just is like, yeah, we're the Jinn, whatever. And Kamala's like, what? How are you so calm about this? And she goes, I just am. This is just what we are. It's what we choose to be, sort of thing. I really like the angle they're playing on that. Trying to lean her into the you get to choose to be a hero if you want to be, sort of thing. I really, really like that. It's pretty classic. But even though it's a classic and oh yeah, everybody, that's the classic line that they give anybody who has powers. It feels unique to her, the way they're doing it. They give her this line. Her grandmother tells her, you'll learn to find beauty in the pieces. It's beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful stuff. And then Kamala goes to bed. That, because she just had this big old long flight. She's tired. And overnight she has a nightmare about the wedding fight And then she gets woken up the next morning to go out to go explore Pakistan. So they go and do some brief tourism for what seems like maybe just a few hours. And then the cousins split off, saying that they were going to go do something with their friends. And Kamala says, well, I actually wanted to see the train station. And so they're like, okay, cool, have fun with that. And then they just ditch her in Pakistan, which is totally messed up of your cousins to do. I'm sorry. Her family's got some weird weird energy. But they ditch her in Pakistan. She goes to visit the train station, and then she gets attacked by the Red Dagger. And they have some good banter when they fight. It's pretty hilarious. And basically he goes, do all Americans with superheroes wear masks? Or all Americans with superpowers wear masks? And she goes, how can you tell I'm not Canadian? And he goes, you have a shirt that says New Jersey on it, which is hilarious. I love it. Super funny fight scene. It ends with them getting chased down by the police and then them running away to, get away from the police, obviously. Obviously, he also kind of tracked her down because she was using what he calls the Noor, which isn't explained till a little bit later. They end up going to this secret little hideout in the back of a restaurant. He turns the dial on the oven a certain way, and it starts opening this little entryway to this back room. Secrets. Woo! But yeah, they end up meeting with Walid, and he starts to tell Kamala about the truth of who she is, who her grandmother was, and why they fight against the clandestines. Him and, the Red Dagger and the rest of their little tribe or group, or I mean, it wasn't very clear about how many people were in on this other than those two, Walid and then the guy playing the Red Dagger. I don't think they actually named him. I don't think they name dropped him. They might have, but it might have flown over my head. Like I said, crazy few weeks. So they start having a talk about what her bangle actually is, who Aisha really was, why they try and fight for what she strived for, essentially. They don't go super into the detail of what she believed, but mostly that they're just trying to fight the good fight against the clandestines to protect the world. And meanwhile, while this is happening, at the Department of Damage Control, Namja and her crew break out. They just straight up break out. And Kamran actually ends up getting told to just stay. He gets left behind, and the rest of them, I mean, he still breaks out as well. They all break out together. But they, she chooses to leave him behind actively in pursuit of Kamala because she doesn't want him there being a liability. There's a good chance he follows them to Pakistan anyways. I don't know how he would necessarily track her. I know that they're following the Noor, but I don't know if he has any special abilities to tap into that like they do. So that'll be interesting to see if where he shows back up and how. But then after she's done a little bit of training and gotten a little bit of an explanation to what she is, or at least a little bit more of it, she goes with Red Dagger and meets up with a bunch of friends and possibly her cousins. I don't remember if they're there or not, but they have a little bonfire hangout. And she just kind of gets to chill there and be a normal kid for a minute, which I thought was very interesting. They didn't add any dialogue really to that scene to show that, but that was like the first time her life has kind of slowed down for any more than 1 second, to be just to be a normal person for once, which I thought was very cool to do for her. Then Muniba and Sana back at the house Kamala's mom, Muniba, is trying to clean up the entire house for Sana, just because that's how anybody is sometimes. Anybody can be this way. I was going to say mothers in particular, but anybody can really get this way. OCD about things being clean. I definitely am this way sometimes. But Muniba's cleaning up the entire house, and Sana tells her to just relax, slow down, chill out for a second. And they share a little moment about how Muniba says that she wishes her mother was there, and kind of has like a aha sort of moment about how she should be treating Kamala. And when Kamala gets home from the bonfire, even though it's been a long day, they were out super late, much later than they anticipated. She sits at the table waiting for her kindly and is very happy to see her again, and respects the connection and the time spent together that they have over there and back in in Pakistan where she was from. So she's embracing the moment, embracing the opportunity that she has to actually bond and connect with Kamala. And that was very beautiful too, especially if you guys watched my episode 1 review. I was very, very critical of her mom, and she's really turning a corner. She really is. It's good. It's good to see. I hope that continues to be the case through the rest of the series. Her mom seems like she's really got her back at this point. I don't know where this shift is really coming from deep down, but it's a good shift in my opinion. So yeah, basically Muniba was like telling Sana though to stop sharing these crazy stories. They got people all riled up. Mostly probably the fact that she was just sharing, yeah, I'm a djinn, it's whatever, to random people they didn't know, and her daughter thought, my mom is a crazy lunatic. But little does she know, her mom is correct. Anyway, so then Kamala goes back to hang out with Red Dagger and Walid to learn a little bit more about her powers. A lot of this stuff happens very, very quickly. All of this stuff that I've just talked about happens pretty quick. And they give her a basic explanation about how the dimensions would fold in on themselves because they're from different dimensions, and that their realm or dimension or whatever they're referring it to would collapse onto this plane of existence, and so that Earth as they know it would no longer be there, and it would be taken over by what I believe are the Kree. I don't even think that they're from a different like realm or planet or universe. I think they're trying to do the same thing, like think Transformers Dark Side of the Moon, where they're trying to transfer what are the Transformers homeworld? What is that called? Whatever that is, they're trying to like move that onto the surface of the Earth, or like teleport it, create it nearby Earth. I don't know what they were doing. Something like that is basically what the Kree, I think, are trying to do on Earth. I could be completely wrong in that they are actually from a different dimension, and that this could be like something to do with incursions overall. I don't really know what they're doing for Secret Invasion, okay? It's weird. They switched up her stuff. They're switching up that stuff. I don't even know if the Skrulls are bad guys, but that's what I think is probably going on. I'm not super certain, but like the Kree teleporting their homeworld onto another place that's more hospitable makes tracks with me. I don't know. It makes some sense. So as they give that explanation, they talk about what the Noor is, which means the light, and what that actually means, and how the Red Dagger has defended the Noor from taking over, really, and mostly the Bengals being used by the wrong people. As she's like learning about her powers and showing them off, crashes through the ceiling. Namja and her crew, all of them are ready to kill him, and then they start this big old fight scene in there. Uh, Red Dagger and Kamala run away outside of the building. Waleed, excuse me, Waleed ends up staying behind and fighting off Namja and the rest of the crew for a little bit, and then they break out ultimately and start doing like this crazy car chase in the middle of Pakistan. They flip a truck. She basically, Kamala uses her powers to like build this ramp and then like shift them outside off to the side of the road, and then the truck keeps going and flips. It's some crazy stuff. There's that, and then they do the run through the city and through the streets sort of scene as well. Again, these classic things that are being done, but done kind of in their own way for the first sort of time. I really enjoy it. Like you had this sort of scene in Moon Knight as well, running through Egypt as well. But I like the way they're doing it, and they're doing it culturally accurate to the best of their abilities. Obviously, I'm not the best person to speak on that, but from what I've read from other people talking about it, is that this is pretty spot on. Yeah, so they start the chase. Waleed splits off from them and ends up like running around on the rooftops to try and stop them and avert them, and he ends up facing Namja one-on-one as one of the other group members of the group is chasing Red Dagger and Kamala and is closing in on them right behind, and he has his like two little daggers that he could use to protect himself, and instead he turns around and throws them both. This is the part I have a problem with. Sort of. There's layers to it. He has two daggers available. He throws them both into this guy to save Kamala and the Red Dagger, instead of throwing just the one and then defending himself. Also, the fact that Waleed has been introduced this episode, lasted 15 minutes and then died, and was supposed to be this like likable mentor character that you got to know and love, and then died. There's dying too quickly, and you're like, no, I really love that character. This is like, oh, I guess we could have used him. I really liked him. I thought he was going to be more important to the storyline, and unless, he's not dead, but it looked like he was dead. He got stabbed in the back and then fell off a building, so I'm almost certain he's dead. I could be wrong though, and if I'm wrong, then I'm very happy with the reveal that he comes back and saves him. But I am not very happy with the pacing of how quickly she met him, started trusting him, learned some stuff from him, and then he died before she really got anything of substance. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, so then they end up running into a building because they still have to escape. Red Dagger and Kamala just get cornered in the middle of this building. It looks like a bunch of shopkeepers and stuff like that. And they get ready to fight. Then all of a sudden, oh wait, no, they do actually start fighting. They hit the dead end, they start fighting. Kamala and Red Dagger are actually killing it. Kamala takes out like two of the grunts. I shouldn't call them grunts, but two of the other members of the crew. And then Namja like gets frustrated with the lack of progress they've made stopping these two, and she just swings full force with her own weapon and hits Kamala on the bangle. And then they start seeing this vision and closes up, and then Kamala kind of wakes up in what could be just a dream world, but I think she actually got teleported back in time to India on the train that was leaving for Pakistan, that was leaving for Karachi. And that's pretty insane, completely unexplained to this point, has time travel possibility and so much more written on it. The technology is advanced as heck, kind of reminds you of something, and no one really knows where it comes from still at this point, outside of maybe it being Kree technology. I personally have this stake invested into the fact that the rings and the bangle, and possibly two bangles, came from Celestials and that they helped create them. I don't know if that's actually the case. We'll have to wait and find out, but I think it's pretty insane. But yeah, Kamala gets teleported back to India, to Karachi, and she's watching stuff happen from the partition, which I haven't talked about because I'm not overly familiar with this concept or this historical event. Not a concept, but what was going on. I don't have any personal connection to any of the stories. All I know is that there was a lot of pain caused, and you can see that happening. People are choosing to send their kids or their spouses ahead into the world and away from India because of what's going to happen. And so I don't feel comfortable talking about that as if I have any real insight into it. So that's kind of why I've refrained from it on this channel so far. There's plenty of other creators out there who are doing a great job talking about this and have that personal stake and investment in it. So I'm going to leave that up to them. The show is phenomenal, though. Even though I had the issues with the pacing and with Wally dying so soon, it was still a good episode overall. Still very fun. Kamala's learning more about her powers, and then this big old twist, this big old cliffhanger that keep giving us good ones, where we don't really know what's coming next. Especially because they've changed so much about her character. We just don't necessarily know what to expect, so I like it. But I think that's about all I have for this episode breakdown. If you guys liked it, let me know in the comments. If I missed something huge, like some big old Easter egg, I'm sorry. Let me know, though, because I'd like to know if I missed something huge. And I will see you guys when they drop episode 5 next week. Until then, take care of yourselves, drink some water. Peace.